Alright guys, we are here with REXXARS taking on Shrek is Love. This is a Diamond Cycle 5 round, losers bracket round 2 matchup. As this will complete the Cycle 5 stuff that I have not covered, and therefore it should complete everything that everybody didn't cover, so if you want to watch any part, Shrek. Nope, damn it. Here with damn you, Twitch. That's what happens when I watch Twitch and then I forget, because my dashboard actually has the thing and I don't mute it. Whatever, Fusen's here. How you doing, Fusen?
I'm doing okay, thank you.
We've had long conversations about kinesis.
It's decent hero.
I don't think it's a good hero. You think it's a good hero. It's one of these days, everybody else in the entire world will convince you that you're wrong because I'm a genius.
Nice.
And that's how that works.
Oh, you have 8 years.
Dude,
Whoa.
That's not much for me actually. I got 60 to 70 yesterday, and it was post HoN Tour, so that helped. But
Rocky Balboa is watching.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What a player!
Hello, Rocky.
Let's see how you do in this game.
How you doing? I'm not gonna flame, I promise.
I will.
Oh god, the pressure is on.
I will flame endlessly. What the hell are you doing with that Tempest, Rocky? How come your elementals are dying? It's not an excuse that they expired. You're supposed to keep them alive forever. You're a failure. Get Shallow Grave and put it on your elemental. It's not even in this game, but why don't you just code it in? This guy. Okay, I'm done. Anyway, Swiftblade and Ophelia, first two bans from REXXARS, and Cthulhu and Kraken to be taken out by Cluck. So, Legion Swiftblade ban? That's new and weird.
That usually happens if you don't play Swiftblade, or you can't. I'm thinking because REXXARS, they had Denver as a suicide. Yeah. Not sure if he should be able to play suicide. Well, there must be a reason they wanted to place something differently. Like, they wanted to go for a different strat, they didn't want to leave Swift Cthulhu open. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't make too much sense to me, but...
Yeah, I don't get it either. That's why I brought it up. They also banned the Ophelia, which is odd. I mean, Staff plays a solid Ophelia, but as we were talking about before, Ophelia not that good a hero anymore.
I'm not gonna give away too much, but Ophelia is really good on Hellborn side. So if you watch me drafting, I'm usually banning Ophelia on Legion every time. Just because the hero is insane for doing Kongor. You do one mistake, and that's a free Kongor for enemy, and they're just gonna snowball out of control. It's actually really strong. If you can draft a good lineup around it. You don't have to pick it,
right?
But since, you know, for us, Willowkeeper, who doesn't play Ophelia at least yet, that could mean that you can even third pick the hero. That would make it even stronger, so... Ophelia is a good ban on Legion every time, especially if you're against a good Ophelia team. If you know that your enemy is not gonna run Ophelia, or you're not that scared because you're prepared, you want to ban something else, then you can ban something else. But it's a good ban.
Over Parasite, even? I mean, like, yeah, sure, Ophelia is a strong hero, but I feel like Parasite's way better.
Parasite is good on any side. Right. Ophelia is much, like, significantly better than Hellborn.
That's fair. So if, in the eventuality that Legion side or Hellborn don't first pick the Parasite, then potentially Legion could have gotten it. And
yeah, the thing is they could have picked Glacius instead of Rhapsody because it's good against Parasite, but I guess they don't think it's needed. It's mainly good if Parasite mans up, which is usually not the case, but it can happen in some cases. It's really rare, but some teams do it sometimes. It's more like a safe pick, you know. You pick a Glacius, then you secure having a nice time in case Parasite mans up. Well, that's not a free win, but you can lose even with a Glacius against a Parasite if he mans up. But on paper you should have a much easier time. And actually, Rhapsody is a really easy target for Parasite to burst down, but that doesn't make the hero bad. So I mean, Rhapsody is never bad. It's just Glacius was open. But it's fine. It's not like a huge mistake or a mistake. It's just preference. And they do pick up the Tempest, third pick, which is probably the best they could have done. Unless they want to do some funky jungler. I assume both teams want to use junglers because both teams are like mainly jungler teams. So you kind of want to get junglers first 3 picks because it's gonna get banned out and then you're gonna get screwed if you can't get a jungler. So Tempest 3rd pick was definitely a good choice. Could have been something else like a keeper, but I think probably Tempest is better for them. Not sure if they play keeper. If Rocky plays keeper, I know he likes Tempest. Also, keeper is really passive.
Yeah.
Tempest is much better against Parasite laning wise, although there is the Tempest canceller effect. Like Parasite is always good against Tempest because he can cancel the whole, but laning wise it's much easier for Tempest. Because you cannot really screw up Tempest. I mean you can, but it's harder compared to keeper.
I think Tempest Magmas fit together a little bit better as well, and in terms of Tempest cancelers, there's a lot of Tempest cancelers. I don't think you can not pick Tempest because they don't have a Tempest. They don't have a Tempest canceler. But yeah, there's Kinesis. So we'll see. We'll see.
Should I tell you if it's a good game or bad game for Kinesis?
Go for it.
I think it's a good game. I think it's a good game for Kinesis. Thing is, they are Legion. They don't know. They probably know that it's a solo short lane because it's Prisoner Glacius first. I mean, second and third pick. It could be something like funky, like Prisoner manning up, but then it's still a solo short. It's very unlikely that they're gonna leave Prisoner solo mid and rotate Glacius short lane. So it's almost guaranteed that Kinesis is 1v1, and it's a really strong 1v1 hero. And he has the ability to get lane control as well, which is really good against Parasite. It's harder to gank hero. Plus, it's pretty good to escape. He has the lift, so he can just lift Parasite every time and just walk out. If he has lane control.
I'm going to disagree with you, not only because I don't like Kinesis, but also because I think Ogre have done something that's kind of genius here. So it's going to be Mag mid. And Prisoner crushes Magmas 1v1 because Shackle completely counters it.
I do agree with that.
So,
yes, and so does Glacius. Glacius is really good against Magmas.
So they're going to have to dual lane Magmas mid, which is probably a good idea. Unless they pick a Moon Queen here, in which case they won't. But that would be bad.
But they can also short lane Rhapsody Magmas, which is fine. And pick a somewhat carrish hero mid, although they're kind of out of options because Prisoner Glacius would just kill that lane over and over. So they're a bit screwed. They have to play really passive with the Magmas Rhapsody mid.
Right. So I mean, but if they run the Magmas Rhapsody bot, then that would leave Glacius top lane to screw with the Kinesis, and it's gonna be Moon Queen, which means that's Rhapsody Moon Queen bottom, Magmas mid, Kinesis suicide, and I would expect we're gonna see a dual lane top.
Kinesis is decent against Glacius. It's not that bad. But yeah, they most likely, not sure if they will support the Moon Queen, because they could be like, screw this, we are against Prisoner Glacius, we don't wanna win mid, just leave Magmas there. The TDL pick is really interesting.
Yeah, a little greedy, but I'm almost okay with it. I don't think they have to support Moon Queen bot, right? They can't leave Moon Queen against the Hag; she'll get destroyed.
Yes, they should support Moon Queen. But I'm questioning if they will support a TDL, because Kinesis wins against TDL.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do lane top because I think they realize it's gonna be solo mid Magmas, and they figure Prisoner can destroy that lane with Shackle.
It's much better for TDL because he has a W to last hit. So it doesn't, like, whatever lane you get with TDL, you should always be like 250 GPM because you can just last it from safe distance. So to some extent you can't really crush a TDL 1v1, although it's not the strongest hero, but it can solo, unlike the Moon Queen who would get crushed. So Glacius can still be mid, and honestly, it might be the better choice. Like, it's really, I don't think TDL is a great pick against solo Kinesis, because as I said, he's gonna lose. But since they made that pick, I would still go for Glacius, Prisoner mid, because if Magmus gets away with the 1v1 lane against the Prisoner, I don't know, they picked a really strong lane against Magmus.
Yeah.
And then they just don't use it, and Magmus is gonna get 1v1 lane, which he could win, because Magmus is really good against melee heroes. Yeah. Although Prisoner has a really good base damage, like people don't realize it's really strong hero, base damage wise. So I'm not sure how the matchup is gonna go. I would say Magmus should win it, but it's kinda easy to last it with Prisoner, so Prisoner could get some good form as well. Parasite could gank really easily for Prisoner as well, because Magnus can't really escape. And Tempest is gonna be more passive in the jungle probably. And looking at the lanes, they're supporting the TDL.
Yeah, that's what they should do, I think. It's a pretty easy call. And no, Twitch.
Okay.
Stu's concerned that Kinesis sold his boots late. No, he didn't. That's 100 gold right there. The health pot's 200. That's 3 and 400. That's 500 gold. Plus he had awards, so that's 600 gold. He did not sell him. I don't think somebody else bought him the blade stones. I'm pretty sure he sold his boots on time.
Interesting Kinesis plays. Okay, I have no idea how to play Kinesis. Like, I'm not a Kinesis player.
Right.
But
that's probably not it.
But the way at least Boxy plays is somehow, I don't know how, I'm not watching Boxy replays. He gets 2 creeps, lifted up, and the enemy only gets 2 creeps, and they kill the archer instantly.
Yeah.
This Kinesis hasn't done this.
And now he's gonna double.
In fact, he has 2 archers right now. So something went wrong.
Not lane control, and it's not what he wants.
And also the pool is open, so they can get back to lane control anytime. Kinesis is a lane control based hero, sort of like a Plague. You basically deny creeps. If you can just get the lane control back, it just doesn't work out. It's the same case for Plague.
He's putting a fair bit of damage up onto this Glacius, and actually Glacius might be a little bit in trouble. We'll take the health pot. Kinesis trying to knock it up, unable to do so. Forcing Glacius out of lane, and he still has 4 tangos and health potions, so he's not super concerned.
Luckily, Glacius went for an interesting build. I don't really like these 6 tangos. Or 2 tangos, how do you say it? Is it 6 or 2?
It's
2
6.
sets of region.
Okay,
6 tangos, 2 sets of tangos. Okay, well, not sure if I like it. He does need region against Kinesis. Like, if you don't have region against Kinesis, you're doomed. Like, you're not gonna be able to box out the hero because he just out-threshes you.
Yeah.
But I would much rather see some stats and maybe a mana potion, like 1 mana totem, 1 mana potion in him. Now he doesn't have any mana.
Yeah.
I assume he could skill the aura level 2, which I would do. It's really greedy, but it's actually fine. It's worse for killing, better for harassing because you have more mana.
And that's something that it's not talked about enough, I don't think. The difference in skill builds in Aura. We basically, ever since, who was it? Yoda was the first one to go for the Tundra Blast and freeze over the ice. And he actually does get the Aura level too. But I feel like that's a huge part of Glacius's power. Is there are other heroes that have abilities like the freeze and the slow. Maybe not so good, but the thing that differentiates Glacius and makes him so much better and therefore a better pick in some situations, the fact that he can get the additional mana aura.
Glacius is just a really versatile hero with a good skill set, and you could scale Glacius 3 different ways as well. So that makes him even more versatile. Plus it's good against this meta. I mean, it's good against Doctor, good against Hag, good against Magnus, good against Parasite, so...
Right.
Although, you know, a hard support shouldn't completely counter your lineup, it's still a hard support. So, in the end, you're not gonna win because you just picked Glacius, but it's still, you know, slightly better than a Luna.
It's a lot better than a Luna might maybe the worst hero in the game. Probably not. But
so I think Kinesis should be killed in the top lane. I'm not sure what he does. He is gonna camp top lane. I'm not sure if he's gonna leave the lane or not. He's gonna try to stay there.
Mana, yeah.
But it's really hard for him because he didn't have the pool blocked. He didn't really get the lane control. They're gonna get the Glacius kill, looks like. Maybe not.
They see him, yeah. There goes the Lava Surge. Here comes Parasite trying to do something, but it looks like it might be the Bloodlust. Nice block, actually, from Parasite. Last thing. And the one auto attack. Kinesis is going to get this kill. He's trying to get the counter out of the creep. That's not going to happen. So, Kinesis, Bloodlust. They're going to look to try to finish him off in the meantime. A regen going off from Prisoner will connect on the hook. Looks like Kinesis is going to drop here. No, he's not. Glacier Blast are going to slow Prisoner down, and it looks like he will be able to get away. Here comes Rhapsody as well from the bottom lane, so they're really bringing everybody. Actually, Hag, the Suicide Hag.
I don't know what the hell happened.
Parasite could be in some trouble as well. Last auto attack from Magnus will finish him off, so REXXARS is picking up 2 hero kills right off the bats, and that's a pretty fantastic start from them. Although
I
they,
guess good for them, but I have no idea how Tempest and Rhapsody got to top rune. They're just a really weird rotation.
yeah.
I guess it worked. Not sure if they TP'd, but I
No,
don't
they
think...
just walked. Based on how long it took them to
Interesting.
get there, they just walked. I can't imagine Tempest teleporting to the middle tower either. That would be really weird.
No, I think Tempest walked for sure. I think Rhapsody could have warded though. Like I don't see Rhapsody walking to top rune from short lane without boots. That's just a really
Yeah. I mean,
play.
it took her a while to get there, and just as similarly, I don't know if I see her using a TP to go to middle tower for a fight in the top rune. Like, if somebody's diving a tower, sure. I don't know if she'd do that.
Okay, so they rotated Hag to top lane to pull, and this is something I haven't talked about. But they picked the Suicide Hag, which is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Awful. Especially when you're facing a Rhapsody, but pretty much any support. Doesn't matter, but like Rhapsody is a really good box out support. So I would like to question the pick. Especially the last pick, because I'm not sure. Tidia was the last pick, right?
Yeah.
They still could have done hack shot.
Middle lane, they will lose for sure, so I missed that. Sorry. Keep going.
Like, hack still could have been a short lane, and they could have picked Suicide, which does really well against a dual lane. There are plenty of heroes who could do fine against the Rhapsody Moon Queen.
They randomed the hag.
They random the hag.
Stew number 1. They randomed the hag.
Yeah, they random the hag. Well, still, they could have placed the short lane and pick a Suicide. That's my point.
They could have done that, or they could have asked for a remake.
They have last pick, and they see a Moon Queen picked. I mean, I didn't expect the Moon Queen to be a solo. I don't think they should have expected the Moon Queen to be a solo. Why do you pick a hag then?
Because
or,
the Moon Queen
why do you place a hag?
Moon Queen was last pick, so...
Yes, but Hellboy was last pick.
That's Hellboy last pick, that's a good point.
Lineup.
Yeah, you're right.
So... It's just not a clever play for, I mean, draft, I think, but I mean, maybe they play Suicide Hag really well, I don't know. But just looking at this hag now, sitting in the trees, I don't think he enjoys the game right now.
No, I mean, we've been seeing Wretched Hag actually fall off significantly. She really has not done particularly well in Diamond this season, and in the Suicide role she's been even worse.
Well,
hugely surprising.
If people pick him on Suicide and then go for Lightbrand first item,
yeah,
I don't think he's winning any games with that kind of play.
It used to work when Grimoire was more powerful, but now it's not.
No, I think
really.
it used to work when Suicide was only one.
That was also helpful.
Like, Hag is still not an amazing 1v1 hero on the long lane. It can work against some heroes. Against dual lanes, it's really weak. It's like one of the weakest Suicide heroes against a dual lane.
Looks like they'll be able to take out the bottom tier 1 tower, so a nice early tower push from Tempest.
Good time push with the catapult? No, without catapult. It was one wave earlier than a catapult wave. But
and they'll have the catapult this wave too, so they might actually get a tier 2 out of this if they continue to go, and it seems like there's no reason that they would stop.
The only way Hellborn can stop it is the Prisoner, but then still they have a level 2 Glacius and a level 3 Hag.
And speaking of the Prisoner, he's going to die to the Eruption again in the middle lane, so 4-0 hero kill advantage for REXXARS is that they've used that Eruption twice in mid very, very effectively. And Glacius is dead too, because Kinesis is rotating over.
Kinesis was ganking with a haste gen, so that goes back to lane control. And I would like to... I'm not sure which room that was, but it's really important to control the runes, or at least know that the enemy has a haste. Because that shouldn't happen ideally. Sometimes it does happen, even to the best teams, but ideally you should just camp the runes there and not let the enemy to get the runes.
Or at the very least, know where the rune is. We don't have any rune vision whatsoever from Hellborn team.
And like, if you don't have a rune vision and then you know that the enemy got the good rune, you should assume it's a haste team with whatever rune. You should always assume the worst case.
Right.
So I mean, I don't think it's semi bad play from Prisoner, but I would also say Parasite could have camped the rune. So it goes either way. Not sure if he actually did camp the rune and it was bot lane or top, but yeah.
And speaking of Prisoner, he has actually gotten shut down pretty damn hard. Those 2 deaths not helping, but he's at 204 gold per minute. He grabbed the Magnus, 400
He's also getting outlasted.
Yeah. So
I don't think Magnus should win that hard.
I don't think he should win at all, personally, but he can like, because of the volcanic touch. But
like the two kills, okay, I can understand 2 kills. He got ganked, right. But last hit wise, still think he should be more farmed. And here comes the top push.
Yep, and REXXARS just having no interest whatsoever in hanging around. It seems like Portal Key's up on Magnus already. He's probably actually had that for a little while.
Yeah, like it's a disaster. Like you cannot defend those pushes with the level 2 glaciers, a DDL, and the level 5 hag. Like it's just you pick greedy, you lose your lanes. Yeah. You don't have any tools to defend pushes. They are counter pushing, which is good, but they are against the Magnus PK, which is really bad. Like.
And they're actually going to defend this 3-man Lava Surge from Magnus. We got 3 ports coming in as well. Looks like we're going to have a pretty easy kill right after that onto Parasite. Prisoner also going to fall here. He's looking for more. Glacius in a lot of trouble. Going to get the freeze, but the stasis smash is there as well, and that's going to get it destroyed. So 3 heroes on Ogre falling very quickly. We're looking at 9k gold lead, 4k experience lead like, at 11 minutes in.
This play could have worked, but as soon as Magnus gets a PK, you just cannot counter against that. At least this early on. Like, and this goes back to Magnus dominating mid. He has 500 GPM.
And I mean,
wow.
there's nothing Ogre can do. Like, what do they do?
Wait, was this a game Magnus got 2 PKs? No spoiler, but I think Cormel linked me a picture some time ago with Roberto going for 2 PKs by mistake.
Oh,
or
seems
just
possible.
I don't know which one. And he was Magnus. I think it was this game.
I mean, he's saving out 1,500 gold here. He's already got a portal key, and you could forgive him for thinking, oh, it's 13 minutes. I should get my portal key, not realizing I already have a portal key. But
so. KNX is going for Ghost Marchers. I actually really like that. It's hard to explain. It's just really good against TDL. I feel like, although TDL could catch up, I guess. So that was just terrible explanation. But I don't know. I feel like you could just outrun this team, and in general, like Ghost Marchers is a really good choice of boots on KNX. Both Steam boots and Ghost Marchers are viable. Depends what item you're gonna go for, and DDL might die in a...
And it's gonna die. Nope, she gets the Charging Strikes off and a Dark Blaze, but there you go. Silence wears off, and now TDL is destroyed.
As a general rule, you don't have to follow this, but as a general rule, you wanna go for Steam Boots if you go for BK, and you wanna go for Ghost Marchers if you go for something else. It can change though, like it's not a strict rule. You can do whatever you want. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that Ghost Marchers is I see most
actually getting destroyed a little by Prisoner. They will guard her out, and Shackle gonna go down. Looks like Ogre might get the first kill. Maybe they won't. Now Moonbeam trying to turn this around. They do get the Prisoner. There's the Moonbeam onto Parasite as well. That's gonna be 2 counter kills. As that Magnus Portal Key, man, is doing a lot of work.
So yeah, I just wanted to mention because most people go for Steam Boots and KNX. I think Ghost Marchers is just equally good. Depends what game you're playing.
Yeah.
I mean, this game it doesn't really matter because they have 11k gold lead at 13 minutes in.
They can do pretty much whatever they want, like get a second portal key on Magnus. Which, no, it's a tablet, so maybe not this game.
Maybe not this game. Maybe after the tablets.
Wait, maybe not. Who knows?
Well, what can Hellborn do is a really hard call.
They can forfeit in 1 minute. That's an option. It's a pretty attractive option.
I don't think they want to do that. Maybe. Well, DDL is pretty close to his rune decks, but they're gonna have no map control, so he probably can't farm with that rune decks anyways. One good play which they could make is take control of the enemy jungle and like just have fuck map control, and they just farm the enemy jungle and enemy short lane, which is the long lane for them. So basically bot lane plus the enemy jungle. So they dodge the enemy, and then even though that shouldn't work out, for too long. But as soon as they rotate, they could go for their jungle default. They need to get an eye, but they have no gold.
Just getting destroyed in the top lane once again. Saw that the whole time. Magnus are just sitting just out of vision and going, I'm going to channel interruption in the middle of this lane and you're not going to see me.
Yeah, actually as soon as Parasite gets puzzle box, he can help with dewarding. Although level 1 puzzle box is not that amazing for that.
Right. I mean, like, okay, even if they do get TDL some farm, like, Moon Queen's already at 515 GPM. So as well as Magnus is doing, Moon Queen's doing fantastically. Tempest is at 424 gold per minute. Kinesis is 300 plus, and it's a little bit inflated because of all the early towers they took. But speaking of Moon Queen, she's going to jump to this bottom lane. We'll see if she can survive. My guess is no, considering that they have 3 heroes here. So Ogre, are they going to get their first kill? There we go. Nox managing to the last hit, so that's good.
This is really important.
Moving in the right direction.
That's your index for TDL.
Yeah. And they do have double stacked ancients here, presumably triple stacked in a second when Glacius is done, so that'll help as well.
They should clear that as soon as possible because, like, with this Legion could steal it anytime they want. Like Hellborn cannot take a fight. If Legion walks into their ancients, that's free for them.
Yeah.
They cannot fight that.
Right.
So they need to clear that, and it's not stacked again.
I'd feel like it would make a difference if this were a Doctor with a Nullstone or a Silhouette with a Nullstone or something like that. Glacia's going to get jumped in this lane as well. It is going to die. When the auto attack there, it is the background prisoner also getting on Rhapsody and help finish that kill off. Meanwhile, they do manage to pick off the Magnus, so it's good. Slow him down a little bit. Still at 530 GPM.
You mean TDL Rundex is not going to be the...
Well, because, like, okay, so TDL Rundex is going to be nice, alright? But she's still, after this, she needs Abyssal Skull, and then she needs a Shrunken Head, and then she needs... So, like, she's not... Just because she has Ruined Axe, then she's still, like, 20-plus minutes away from being able to fight.
That's the hero for you. Like, Ruined Axe, it's just amazing on TDL, and I would say there are some cases when you don't have to go for Ruined Axe. But I think he already had the Sustainer when they, like, started getting...
Right. I'm not even saying he shouldn't have gone for Ruined Axe. I'm just like, okay, so if he's going to get the Ruined Axe, my question is that actually going to make him a threat of any sort in this game? Like, do they have to be worried about the TDL at all?
I think Ruined Axe is going to have one impact this game, at least for now on. It's a really good split pushing item because you clear waves really fast.
That's true.
That's the only thing they can do, honestly. Like, they cannot fight, as I said.
Right.
So all they can do is split push and farm other lanes and enemy jungle.
Right.
Maybe get pickoffs. Veil Drought is not available at this point.
Magnus is going to get silenced out and hit with a Taint Soul, so he's going to be pretty low, but there's the push book back. Here comes the Moon Queen ultimate. Going to lock some people down. Catman Champion will be forced out from Parasite as TDL dies. One-man Lava Surge there does not catch Glacius in the backhand. Not going to be mattering too much for Parasite's mortality. And now Clock's going to get chased down pretty much anyway, actually. He might have been able to juke them, but probably not for very long. Rhapsody will spot him out and has no push book, so can't go over that ledge. Going to try to hide in the corner. Not look at them, but that's not a great tactic.
Let's assume Legion is going to win, because if it was home casted and I would watch this, I would stop watching it saying Legion would win. And most people would do so.
Probably.
But, like, what can Hellborn do? Like, Hellborn has a chance of coming back. But in general, it's really, really hard to play from behind, especially with this kind of lineup. But it's possible. I would not bet on them, but it's possible.
This might help. Kinesis in the bottom lane going to get jumped, and he's level 10. Here comes Hag as well, and they will be able to burst him down. So Kinesis unable to do much of anything for some reason. That was not a silence, it was just a shackle, so I felt like he probably could have done something other than just kind of wait for them to kill him. But
So yeah, depends how good a team is at this style, but it's going to be really important to split push and dodge. There are some teams who are really great at that, there are some other teams who are not. And also warding is going to be crucial. Klakmok is suffering. I mean, every time your team is losing this hard, your support is going to be suffering. And every ward is going to be crucial you place. So yeah, it's really like minor things, but those make a big difference, like especially warding. And Parasite should just use his boss box to deboard, I think, because there's no way they're gonna get an eye anytime soon, unless Prisoner buys one, but he probably needs a PK.
I mean, they shouldn't buy one. Like, if they buy an eye, they're gonna just lose it.
Yeah, but since they are not looking to team fight anyways, you don't wanna use the puzzle box other than for warding.
Right.
Maybe split pushing. But my point is, if you see those 2 deep wards on mid and top lane, those are really bad for Hellborn team. Those shouldn't be there. Obviously, they don't have the map hack, God Vision. But they should try to de-ward it possible.
Speaking of top lane, we see Kinesis and Magnus jumping onto this Dark Lady once again. She will put the cover of darkness down, and that actually will convince them to back off. As I'm kind of surprised actually that their communication wasn't a little bit better than that. But I guess thinking we don't have enough vision, not worth it to risk it just in case they do try to jump us. But I mean, like even if it's 3v5 in that situation, I think the Legion still wins. They had Magnus ult, they had Tempest ult, they had Kinesis ult. Well, whatever. It's fine.
Well,
I don't know. I think I would have liked this a lot better if. I think you're right. The TDL pick was a bit of an issue, especially after the Hag. If they had gone for something like a Doctor or like a Puppet Master that could have been active early and still been relatively good in the late game to pair with that wretched Hag, I don't think they needed to pick something as hard as the TDL to give them the late game advantage. Even after
I think they could have picked a Pharaoh. Not sure if it was banned, and played the Hag short lane, and then they have more like a ganking team.
Sure.
Not so much late game, but pretty decent Kongor team with a Pharaoh. So every time they win a team fight or Tempest uses ulti, they can just get Kongor and snowball with that. But right now, all they did was drafting 5 strong heroes,
Right.
decent late game, but nothing else. And it could have worked against some teams.
Well, if they didn't get
REXXARS
destroyed,
played it really well.
if they didn't get destroyed in laning phase, then
Yeah, like, but like when you draft like this, like Hag was supposed to like get crushed on the suicide lane.
Right.
TDL has decent farm as he should have.
Yeah.
But all the other heroes have basically 0 impact.
Yeah, I don't think they figured that Parasite was going to be a 210 gold per minute at 22 minutes, or that Prisoner would be 0 and 6. Like that's.
And actually, I wanna say it's really impressive that Masir on Hag is turned to GPM.
That's fair. 2-0 and 0. That's not bad.
And he went for a tablet, not a Grimoire. Which is also really impressive because most players would go for a Grimoire, which is terrible, I think.
Like Zibe would go for
Ben,
Grimoire.
on a Legion FOB.
No, he would go for Lightbrand and then Mighty Blade.
He'd go for Lightbrand and then Alchemist Bones. That's what he'd go for.
I mean,
That's
not
weird.
saying
Anyway.
Grimoire is always bad, but when you're behind,
Yeah.
it's probably not the item you wanna get. Okay,
Yeah,
Glacier
they
is
will.
gonna die.
He probably will. 2-man Lava Surge. There's the initiation from Moon Queen. Ultimate crushing everything. Cluckmuck is the first one and only one to die, actually. As creeps eat a fair number of those bounces. So 2
like,
moves at once.
this is when they have a token
Yeah.
and like there's no way happens is gonna win.
Rushing Channel up in the background, gonna go on to just pretty much Parasite. They won't put the stasis smash up. That's gonna reduce the damage. They still get the kill, no problem. Rhapsody ultimate background will save all sorts of her from the Hellborn team. Looks like Nox and Mighty Marcus are both gonna fall. Parasite coming back in with the buyback, but he's not gonna be able to much. Bat Blast actually hits on 3. Again, not gonna make a difference. Hag gonna fall. Parasite gonna die once again. Glacier's coming back up just for the regen because he's only level 5 and doesn't matter. Going right back to the grave. Hag buying back, and that's not gonna work. So,
Gory.
yeah,
Nice.
I think so.
You hit the scream.
Nice UI bug right there.
Well,
Nice UI
at
bug.
this point it wasn't Hellborn's fault at this point because it's impossible basically to win that fight against the token that lead. And Legion played it really well. They didn't keep farming. They kept pressuring the Hellborn. The only thing I could see Hellborn doing is like finding pickoffs every time they can. Because if you find a pickoff, that means you can't go for Kongor because you have only 4 players. Because they can't win a Kongor fight either. And as soon as Legion decides to go for Kongor kill, that's free. And as soon as they have token, that's a free base and they won the game. So they have to delay the Kongor kill as much as possible. And the only way they can do that is by pickoffs. But I mean, as I said, it's really hard.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, when
they had
you,
no vision, no map control, and like it wasn't their fault because they were so much behind. But like that's the downside of picking greedy lineup and then falling behind so much.
Yeah, I mean, when you lose the laning phase that badly, I think even with a non-greedy lineup, it's hard to come back. I mean, they were down 4 or 5 hero
Yep.
kills in the first couple of minutes, but with their lineup in particular, it was even worse. Either way, that'll do it for Game 1, as the guys on Ogre drop it. REXXARS up 1-0 in the series. We'll see if they can continue their momentum in Game 2, or perhaps Shrek will be making a comeback here. Tied up, go to Game 3 and stay alive. This is a loser's bracket, which means that if you lose here, you are done, and if you don't, you get to continue. That's how winning games works. So, with that, we will throw it to a short break, and we'll be right back.